Visualize the layout of his Mark's house, plantation style, backyard pool and spa, interior courtyard, basement below the study. 10,000. 2 security cameras mounted atop a 10-foot perimeter wall. 2 more on the roof watching the rear yard and pool, 1 in the front courtyard. 2 Dobermans patrolling the exterior yard. 3 bodyguards, 2 working with the dogs, 1 on the inside monitoring the cameras. 8,000. Coordinates still good. He stayed on pure oxygen. 6. Thicker air now, 5 seconds per 1,000. Perfect terminal velocity. 4. Temperature rapidly rising. 3,000. 2. Experiencing a slight ground rush. 1,500. Now! The multi-cell ram air canopy issued a whoop and burst open at 1,100 feet. His body jerked to a relative stop compared to his previous speed. He removed his oxygen mask and goggles and let them dangle around his neck. Next, he unzipped the belly pack, powered up his night vision goggles, and secured them in place over his helmet. He pivoted the device down to his eyes and adjusted the focus. The world turned bright green, resolving into perfect clarity. It was eerily quiet now, with the roar of rushing wind gone. He began a rapid spiral descent toward his LZ. At 300 feet AGL, he lined up on the fairway and focused on the exact spot he wanted. 10 feet above the ground, he pulled hard on both toggles, executed a perfect flare, and touched down in a slight run. Incredible. From 30,000 feet to sea level in under 3 minutes. Juan Montes de Oca peeled his latex gloves and washed his hands in the marble sink. His richly appointed bathroom brought a smile. 10 years. That's how long it had taken him to rebuild his wealth. The regime change in Nicaragua had stripped his military power and prestige and left him with only the clothes on his back. Literally. He had barely escaped into Honduras. Only his lifelong devotion to fitness and endurance saved his life during the arduous trek through 200 miles of jungle. Lesser men would have perished. To make matters worse, all his property and bank accounts had been seized and stolen. Never again, he had vowed. Now, a full decade later, he had rebuilt his life. Retirement lay directly ahead. 1 more year, and he'd have enough to live comfortably for the rest of his life. He didn't feel guilty about hoarding his money. He gave plenty to an orphanage on Trinidad, more than most Tobagonians made in 10 years. Having never known his own parents, he had a soft heart for homeless kids. He removed the elastic band securing his black ponytail and shook his hair out. Hazel eyes complemented a light Hispanic complexion. Nearly 50, Montes could still turn young women's heads, and frequently did. Tonight had concluded another solid session. He had finally broken his latest subject and gleaned valuable information. In the living room, he made an encrypted call, relayed the intel he had just obtained, and scheduled a disposal. The phone discussion ended abruptly, leaving Montes to set down the receiver, slightly stunned. Apparently, no new subject would be delivered any time soon. No matter, he told himself. He'd use the break to catch up on his reading. Montes retrieved his Heckler & Koch USP 9mm from the study and headed for the upper basement door. At the bottom of the stairs, he opened a second door. An unpleasant odor wafted, the coppery smell of blood mixed with a homeless stench. Disgusting, but understandable. He didn't hold it against the man. It wasn't his fault. Part of breaking a subject involved denying all semblance of hygiene. He reached inside the concrete chamber and snapped on the light. The floor, walls, and ceiling were covered with